Welcome to Gun Club. Today's a very special episode because we have just an offline interview with Princess and the Pistol, or Emily, or as she has been commonly known, the cutie patootie, or the girl who is born to be a kindergarten teacher, who is also strapped up, just completely gone viral. And I'm completely honored that we have the opportunity to have her on the show, talk with her, and of course, talk with you. That said, let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's see what's going on, see why she went viral. Does she have any idea why she went viral? All over the internet, all over Twitter, just different posts, not even just her account, other accounts screenshotting and sharing this viral photo. Let's talk to Emily. Emily, welcome to the show. So happy that you're here. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. We literally just did a live show with John and Sarah from Philster, and your name came up because they massively benefited from you posting and showing off their product, which is Philster Enigma. And people were like, "What is going on?" And they said, "Yeah, we got this massive spike in searches for," and I quote, "cutie patootie." I guess that's what was kind of going around online
Yeah.
from the image. Like, what the heck happened with that?
So basically I started Twitter like I think it's been about 2 months ago. Um, because someone had messaged me on Instagram saying that someone was talking about me there, and I was like, good things or bad things. So I made a Twitter account just to go find out what was being said about me. And it was good things. Some guy was just telling all his female followers they should go find me on like Instagram and stuff because I wasn't on X. And so I was like, surprise, I'm here. You summoned me. And so I just kind of been posting a little bit. I kind of know to a like degree if I think something will do well on like different platforms just because like of reactions I've seen before. So, for example, sometimes I'll post pictures with no guns allowed signs that aren't like legally binding in my state, kind of just like to raise awareness for like, oh, you should know your state's gun laws. But I always get a lot of views on those because people are like, oh, how dare you break the law, or oh yeah, rule breaker, yay, like all the various things.
Such a rebel. This motorcycle
I know.
riding, glasses wearing, kindergarten school teacher looking, breaking the
Yeah,
rules.
my little cardigan and
Now,
yeah.
really quick. Here's just a quick
Mhm.
question. Do you teach kindergarten?
No, I do not. I do love kids. I would be fine with doing that, but that is not what I do.
What are you doing currently?
I design and create graphic tees.
Okay, so kind of like graphic design, t-shirt company
Yeah,
stuff. That's pretty
yeah,
cool. Although
yeah.
it's not a kindergarten teacher, so I don't know.
It
I
is
want to get
not.
on that. Kind of fit the image,
I
right?
know. I need to. Well, my style icon growing up was Miss Frizzle, so I mean, is it really a surprise I dress how I do?
No, not at
Have you
all.
seen the Magic School Bus? You know who I'm talking about.
Have I seen them, bro? I'm
Okay,
a
just making
millennial.
sure.
Have I
I'm
seen
just
the
making
magic? We
sure.
watched it in school. I played the Magic School Bus video game. That was like probably the first like 6 video games that I played. Obsessed, obsessed. Like that was my jam.
Good.
And now they have the new one, which isn't bad, which isn't bad.
I
Thankfully,
have not
because
seen the
with
new
these
one,
reboot,
but
listen, it's a little bit beyond us because we are adults now. It's
yeah.
not for adults, but it's not bad. That said, we were talking about like why you went viral, and you posted that up, and you were just
Yeah.
like, "This will do well."
So it was the outfit when I post. So I wear all kinds of things. I don't really have like a certain style I stick to. That particular outfit was very like cutesy and whatnot with the little flower shirt and then the skirt. And outfits with like dresses and skirts get a lot more views. I thought it would do well. I thought I'd get maybe like 100,000 views. I was not expecting it to do as well as it did.
It's like, holy!
Yeah.
I mean, she's just kind of riding the coattails of the very demure, very mindful vibe.
Very
So
cutesy. Yes, exactly.
right. No, I'm here for it because I thought it was solid. I thought it was like, no, because this is good. But I think I'm a little bit desensitized to women in the gun space, because to get that kind of traction, you have to leave the gun space. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
like you're not staying in the bubble. You're going to reach people who have never, and as you know, like with the gun signs and people mad at you, you're gonna reach people who hate it. You're gonna reach people who love it, and you're gonna reach people who are kind of in between, who they don't really understand firearms. They don't understand the responsibilities, none of that, but they do basically love and appreciate a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was a comment I got a lot, was like people being like, you know what? Hell yeah, or whatever. They're just like, it's not me, but good on you, or whatever, which is really nice to see. Just because a lot of people are instantly like, oh my God, you're evil.
Right. Now, I mean, on I don't know if it was a bot, but I was on Twitter X one time, and I posted something, and they were like, "So you like killing children?" And I was like, "What? What? What are you talking? No." But
The
then
vibes can be all
it's
over the place.
I don't know. I think it was a bot, but he was like going back and forth, and I was just like, something about this interaction is very limiting. And for me, I do a podcast because I love genuine human interaction and conversations. So I was like, you know what? If this person genuinely believes this, let's get a Zoom link going. Like, let's actually like start, a conversation. And they declined politely. And I was like, yeah, you're probably a bot. Either that or you're really not serious about discussing these things. Like, if you genuinely
Mhm.
believe that me owning a firearm and training and getting different certifications and licenses and all the different things is contributing to the downfall of society, then come have a conversation about it. But with you, did you see any like heavy negative feedback from that post and photo? Because all I saw was good stuff.
So there was a lot of different reactions, and it depended who shared it too, because I like to go and like look at, I not all of them because there's a lot of different ones, but I went into look at a lot of different ones. One of them specifically, it depended on their like group of people. So like I had one that someone shared, and they were like big negative in their sharing, like they're like, oh, everyone's talking about how attractive she is, but I don't see it, and so then all the comments were just about how ugly I was. And then I got a lot of the messages on like, oh, you should kill yourself, shoot yourself with a gun, blah blah, usual like stuff, social media stuff that pops up when you people see your things. But overwhelmingly, it was pretty positive actually, which is surprising because that's not always been my experience online.
And I don't want to generalize or lump anybody. I'm not going to say, oh, liberals or anything like that, because I don't think that necessarily tracks in all aspects, right? Because people can have a different political leaning and not wish pain and suffering upon a person. But for you, simply,
Yeah.
it this makes me so mad. People who generally champion like women's independence and women's rights and all the different things, and like, like as soon as you bring a gun into it, you're like, hey, you know what? I think I do want to stand up for myself. I think I do want to make sure that when I'm jogging or walking or in a grocery store, that I'm not made to be a victim of some of the worst, most heinous things perpetrated against women or
Yeah.
even others, children and others around you, right? If you're just like, you know what, I think I want to go down this path, it's like, wow, no, that's a step too far, young lady. Pepper spray only, maybe a taser,
Mhm.
but firearm, no, that's a permanent solution to some of the problems that we have in society. And that's just a
Mhm.
step too far, but everything else isn't. And that annoys me. I don't know if you've seen stuff
Yeah.
like that. I don't want you to get too political if you don't have to, but it seems like there's a trend.
Yeah, I don't get too political, which is funny because I do that, I get hate from both sides a lot of the time.
Right.
Uh, but I do see that a lot, with people who are all about women and how they should protect themselves, and then but when you do actually make that effort, they're like, nope, you shouldn't be doing that, or the things have been said to me, and I'm like, you know what, you should be realistic. Do you pay attention to the news? Like, for example, that young woman, Laken Riley, she
Hmm.
did everything she could, and it still wasn't enough. Bad
Right.
things happen to women all the time, and to pretend like they don't is just unrealistic and
Hmm.
um not wise.
I'm with you on that, and I hate that we even have to bring up her name. Her name should be something that we do not know unless she decided to become some sort of famous person. But
Yeah.
the fact that we know it is evidence that the world is cruel. You can do everything right. You can
Hmm.
run during the day. You can um, Tell all your friends where you're going. You can stop at a coffee shop beforehand so they have you on camera. You can do everything.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, there's a big difference between men and women in their powers and abilities. And even if it's men and men or women and women, there are
Hmm.
differences in human physiology from person to person. And if you want
Yeah.
to even the score and or give yourself the best fighting chance to survive a violent interaction and or an interaction that's violent towards people around you, because here in Texas, great state of
Hmm.
Texas, you can use what they call deadly force in defense of a third party or even in defense of property. That's another story, because there's some, I think, morality that comes into that. Like, are you really gonna, pop somebody for stealing bubble gum out your purse? Um,
Yeah.
but but at the end of the day, you get to make that choice here in Texas, which I,
Hmm.
I, I appreciate being able to make a choice. Um,
Yeah.
but in defense of yourself and a third party here in Texas, I appreciate that you can own a firearm. You don't have to get a permit with once you're, a lawful individual, and you can go practice, you can go train, you can take yourself to
Hmm.
the next level. I did kind of want to talk about how you even got into this space, because obviously, okay, you're in Texas, so everybody in Texas got a gun, but that's not true. It's not true. In fact, a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
What the heck? Why?
So I have like entry into like just guns and liking guns, and then entry into the space of like the online space. Um,
Because there's a
so
difference. There's a huge difference.
yeah. So well, like my entry into guns is the first time I ever shot something. It's like a 22 revolver, and I was like 8 years old. It was 2009, and I was at the range with my papa, and he was a gunsmith, and he was showing me how to shoot. That's the first time I fell in love with it. I took a lot of classes when I was like 13 and bought my first gun when I was 13. It was a little 22 bolt action rifle. And built a AR-15 when I was 17, and then got my license right before I turned 21. Even though I didn't need it, I still wanted to have it. It helps. Um, and then I started carrying when I was 21. I started making gun content about the time I started carrying, because the year up until getting my license, I had been doing like a lot of research into holsters and stuff, specifically for women. And the options I saw, a lot of them were quite dismal. I don't think this one is still around, and giving it the title of holster is very I don't even know the word for it, but it was not a holster, but it was advertised as a holster for women, and it was a strip of lace. Um, it was literally just a very stretchy piece of lace that they're like, look, you can wrap it around your leg and your gun, and then it's a holster. And I was like, that is unsafe. But I just saw like a lot of different things like that, or belly bands were really popular, and I'm not a huge fan of them. They can be used safely, but just as they are, I don't recommend them to people. I'm not a huge fan of them in general.
Would you
But
mind
like,
actually touching on that for a second? Because there's going to be
yeah,
probably a few people who are just like, oh, no, I have a belly
I
band. It
know
works great.
I'm gonna be some make people mad. I'm not saying no one should ever use a belly band. I am not a huge fan of them just because I have not seen ones that come with like Kydex inserts. And Mm, I believe that you need to have something protecting that trigger guard. Anything could happen. Like something could stick through. A lot of them are just like elastic, and even though it's like strong elastic, like you can still something could go through that and like pull the trigger. And I don't think that's safe.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard
I
a few
recommend
stories.
anyone who, yeah, I recommend anyone who wants to use one like have a Kydex insert with it. But I think there are better ways to carry. It's just not my favorite. It can be done safely. I just choose not to. Um,
No, and that makes perfect
yeah.
sense to me. Now, kind of getting back to your story of how you even got through, you, I guess the question is, could you answer this briefly? How old are you now?
I'm 24.
Yeah, I was about to guess that, but I was like, gosh, you guessed wrong, and this whole interview's over. um,
No, I had to think about it for a second. I was like, hold on, what year is it? It's
just
24. I'm
based
24.
on the year that you got started, and you're like, hey, no, I started making
Hmm.
content around this time, and it would have been smart and or advantageous, and you do look young or youthful, right? That you would have started in about 2020, 2021, just as things were starting
Hmm.
kicking off with COVID. And it's like, hey, like
Hmm.
you were into guns before, you got a firearm as the time, you took your classes, and you just kind of progressed naturally. But there was a big opportunity for you to get into the space and actually share, and people would be receptive to it. Because before 2020, a lot of people, you could make content, but unless you were like a certain stereotype, you weren't really going to get play per se. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I feel like around 2020 is when like everyone was online. It was just so like everyone was online. Everyone was home. No one had anything to do, so everyone was just watching content, creating content. So yeah, it was a good time to get into it. It's probably what like helped encourage me, but really I just wanted to like share how I started carrying because of all the unsafe options I saw. Like if I had just given up and been like, well, I don't see a good way to do it because I had just been getting into like style and my fashion sense and I didn't want to give that up to go right back to jeans and baggy t-shirts, which I do wear on occasion, but when I want to, not because I have to.
And that's a huge thing. Is like, okay, how much of this is your choice to say like, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and pop on this because I want to be comfortable or whatever. I'm gonna wear these sweats. I'm gonna wear this t-shirt. And the fact that you have an Enigma or things like that, it's like, okay, yeah, you can. And for people who have no idea what I'm talking about, you can Google Filster Enigma. You're actually on their website, which is funny and
Yeah.
awesome at the same time. But basically it's what they call like a chassis system, or it's a holster
Mhm.
connected to what's it what's the material, basically
Oh,
a small rig, and it has a basically a belt loop that goes around your waist with a magnetic latch that clips on, and there's a leg leash option for those who like leg leashes. And really, it's one of the most effective ways to carry. There's a few other options now that the industry's kind of
mhm.
evolved, but you've never been a better time to conceal carry, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, funny story actually. I actually got the Filster Enigma, the original one, um, right before I got my license and turned 21 because I wanted to be prepared. But I actually had to try and get it for months because back then they had a wait list and they couldn't get them out as fast as the orders were coming in. And I was on that wait list, and every time they'd get more in, I would like rush to try and buy them. But everyone wanted them, and there was
That's
never enough.
crazy.
I actually had to wait like several different waitlist periods before I finally caught it. And I didn't even order the holster at the same time because back then they didn't have the express, so you had to order the original base plate just by itself and then a holster to go with it. So I literally
No,
just
that's
ordered the
that's
base plate
true.
as
I
soon as I got
remember.
the
I
chance.
actually remember. Was it like the tail end of 2020? I saw John's stuff. Like I saw a commercial. He put something out. He was showing off how it actually works in like gym shorts, and I was like, man, this thing is really cool. And I remember sharing it with a friend of mine named Kim. Kim, I think it's Kim Casey. And I was like, dude, this is really interesting. You should look into this. And she was like, oh, that is interesting. And then, fast forward to now, it's one of the craziest and best ways and to carry, and the online community for them, I hear is tremendous. And now obviously, you went completely viral for not just having it, because that's, I think only like 10% of it was that, but the fact that you could carry an address and you know what you're doing, and people like the vibe, people like the aesthetic. It's like something about it is genuine and sincere. Like you're not, I don't and I'm not going to say you're not trying, because I think you're trying to be you, but you're not trying to be something
Yeah.
other than who you are.
Yeah, well, I'm not. Yeah, I have a lot of very interesting style choices and whatnot, but it's all just what I want to do. I don't
Right.
really fit the aesthetic of which is confuses people a lot. Apparently, having bad eyesight automatically makes you liberal and hate gun hating.
Oh, I wanted to ask you
So,
about that. I wanted to ask you about that. She's like, "Oh, you had big glasses and your hair is not blue, but I guess it could be if you wanted it to be.
but it's short.
But it's short, so
It's short.
she doesn't like men." Even though on your page,
Even though I'm
you
married to a
have,
man.
even though clearly everywhere on your page is you and your husband hanging out. You had a post where you were getting out of bed and your husband is right there. And it's like, wait a
Yep.
minute, what? She's
Okay,
pretty
this
normal.
I gotta tell you this. This
Yeah,
is
go
so
ahead.
funny because in the photo, so I took it in a mirror, so it was reversed. Um, I had so many people commenting and being mad at me for not having a wedding ring on, and I was like, "You are so stupid. That photo is reversed. You're looking at the wrong hand." I was like, "Don't talk to me. I don't want you following me anyway. Go away."
Oh my gosh. People are reactive, and it's a good thing that
Mhm.
happened. because it keeps
Yeah.
it keeps boosting you up in the algorithm. And it's like I love when there's something that's not wrong. Like I made a mistake the other day. I posted a video
Hmm.
of this. Oh, I can't take it down right now. Oh, actually, I can. What's that? This. And then I threw out my earpiece. This holster here, which is it's a Raven concealment, and I've been doing some testing on it, and because my buddy over at Obsidian Tactics, check the T-shirt. He sent me over his unit because it's a $200 holster, and he was like, "Oh, you have the new X Macro setup. You definitely want to check out this holster that I bought." It was like kind of like an experimental thing that Raven's doing, and
Yeah.
like you can see, it's very strange. It's like contoured in such a weird way where you can see it's basically got like a wedge or shelf built into it. And
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
point being is I was doing a video, and in that video, I said that the optic on that gun was a Holosun EPS with the green dot, solar only, internal battery. But that's actually incorrect. It's a Holosun SCS, which the EPS does not match that description. It has an external battery, but the EPS does, and you can see in the thing. If you look at it, it says Holosun SCS green. Like, guys, I clearly misspoke. And I got
Yeah.
no less than 10 individual comments saying, that doesn't look like an EPS. That's not an EPS. That's an SCS. Is that an EPS? I'm like, somebody asked me, I pinned the comment, and people proceeded to continue to ask me. And I'm just like, yo, y'all might be a little slow, but I'm thankful because I'm getting the comment and it's boosting it up through the algorithm. And I guess that video itself has got like almost 40,000 views, which is great, which is
Nice.
fantastic. Um,
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. I do occasionally like spell something wrong or like
uh,
purposefully print in one spot just so people will talk about it. I'll be like,
she's rage
"What?
baiting these
Oh,
people. Oh
yeah, a little bit."
no. No, I
What?
love it. That's funny. So now here's the question, and I have to ask, and forgive me for
Okay.
asking: are you very liberal?
No.
Would you classify yourself as anywhere near liberal? Because we've not talked about this. I mean, you can be what you want to be.
No. Yeah. Um, so I don't do a whole lot of talking about politics just because I want to encourage everyone, not just people on the right side, but I will say that I definitely lean a little bit more towards the right side. So,
Okay, and that's fine. I would have taken either one with this show, Gun Club Radio, and
yeah.
the version of it before. We talked to all sorts of people. We actually talked to a group out of Houston called Army of Friends, and they're more of like this like leftist ish group or a collective of people who don't lean right, and they definitely more lean like heavily left. And it's like I'll talk to anyone, and I don't have a
Well, I was
problem,
gonna
and
say,
I
people keep
encourage it.
telling me, people keep telling me that you go far enough left, you get your guns back, and
It's true. It's
yeah.
true. You go far enough left, you get the guns back, and you get the cool ones too. You get all sorts of modified AKs and SKS, and it's like everything Russian. And you're just like, man, the Russian Federation is really winning in regards to the arms manufacturing game. But somebody, I want to give him a quick shout out. Strap House Customs. He's actually a member and somebody who contributes heavily to the show, both in word, action, and deed. Sent over a question because I posted it up in my Instagram stories at Armed Atlas, and I was like, "Hey guys, I'm interviewing her tonight, and do you have any questions?" And he dropped a really good one, so I was like, "I'm gonna grab this one for sure." He
Okay.
said, "What are her goals in the 2A industry? Entertainment, hobbies, business, education?" Question marks, and that's all he said. Um, do you have goals?
Um, to a certain extent, my goal this entire time, like since I started doing it, has always just been to encourage other women to that they can conceal carry and they don't have to like give up their whole personality with clothing in order to do so. That's kind of been my goal this whole time. Um, and it's shifted like slightly. Like I still want to be able to do that, and that's still what I plan to do. I also want to be able to put out higher quality content, and so I would like to monetize to a degree where I don't have to work as much in my regular life. So, for example, the last few months I've been working 7 days a week, every week, and nonstop. And creating content was really hard because I just didn't have time. So I've been posting a lot of drafts or just slowed down and posting a little bit. Um, like that photo I posted, I usually would have just like posted a video or something, but I didn't have time. So I ran upstairs before I went to work. I wiped off my mirror and took a couple photos and posted it. And obviously that turned out well for me. But so yeah, my goals is just to keep encouraging women, keep normalizing it. You don't have to look all cool and tactical in order to protect yourself. And get to a point where I can have the time and funds to create better quality content,
No, I
basically.
completely understand that last part. It's like get to the point where you can kind of do that, because even with what we do
Yeah.
here, there's a lot of people who really do support the show, from different sponsors, and insert sponsor here. Today's episode is brought to you by Aura. Aura is a service that I've been trusting for the last several months to get my information off the internet and keep it off the internet. If you're like me, you have a lot of spam and text calls. And if you're also like me, you've had bad actors access and steal your social security information and other things, probably from a cell phone company, but maybe from other places as well. That said, Aura actually reaches out to different data brokers who have your information, whether it be your cell phone, email address, and other things, and they have a special way of reaching out and making them remove your data from their databases and stop selling your information to different call lists, so that you basically get less spam text calls, emails, and things like that. So they're the experts when it comes to that. I definitely trust them to continue to do a great job in that regard. And on the other side, if for some reason my social security number is accessed, they give me a live credit reporting, and they're able to let me know, like, hey, something's happened. And of course, if something does happen, they actually have $1 million policy to ensure that you're taken care of. So easy enough. Go ahead, link down below, sign up, aura.com/gun club radio, and get your 14-day free trial so you can access peace of mind. Okay, we're back, right? So we, from different sponsors to different individuals, like the members over on the YouTube channel to members over on the locals channel, even the guys who've been in the Discord forever, because we used to have Patreon, and those guys are in the Discord, and it's just like, dude, I really appreciate that, but at the end of the day, it takes a lot of money to buy new guns. Tremendous dollar bills. It's like you can't buy a good gun for less than $300-400 these days. And somebody might say more. It's like, well, that's a lot of money. And then if you want to go put shooting content out there, and I don't know that you've done like a lot of like raw shooting content, that's additional
Yeah,
cost.
yeah, no. I did shoot some a little bit the other day because I don't have a range where I can like go take a camera setup. So it's only if I go to the range with someone else and then they can like record clips of me. So it's not often, especially because I just go to a public range and there's always more people around and I feel so awkward. So like just
It's
record me.
100% kind of an awkward situation, and
Yeah.
hopefully you're able to get to the point where there's a great range that you can find that's a little bit more private, and you can get a bay, set up a camera, and kind of walk people through stuff that you do. Just because I
Yeah.
imagine you, as you do with the regular posts, whether it's a photo or like a reel or Instagram
Hmm.
or YouTube short or whatever, TikToks. Well, I don't know if you're on TikTok, but all those different things is you just want to be genuinely you, share what's working for you, share maybe what's not
Hmm.
working for you, and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I mean, the other day you put on, I guess for a Christmas party, you wore your wedding dress again, and you
Yeah.
used a thigh holster, but the thigh holster was maybe a little high for you, and the wedding dress is a little bit low. And you said you were kind of struggling with that a little bit. And it's like, that's not working. But you shared it genuinely and openly.
Hmm.
I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, well, so I try to share moments like that. It depends really on the vibe at the moment because sometimes people are just being really mean and I don't want to share stuff like that, but I try to also be like honest about what's going on. Like I could carry it in the outfit. It was just really difficult to get to it. So, um, but yeah, I mean, that was the only way I could carry in the outfit with what I currently have. So,
And that makes sense. But can we talk about people? And I don't think this should be turned into like a complaining session, but can we talk about some of the dynamics that we see, the parasocial relationships? Because some people, they literally become simps in the sense that when I posted on X, like, hey, this person is going to be on the show. She went viral. They were like, oh, for what? For who? And I posted the one where you were in your wedding dress, right? And then someone said, oh, is she taken? And I was like, oh, brother. And somebody said, my brother in Christ. She's wearing a wedding dress. And he's like, well, some people just wear them just because, they like to model in them. And I was like, oh, okay. I can't help y'all. I can't help you. Struggling down bad, brothers. And,
No,
and
there
not
was
not in the
definitely
sense
a
that
lot of those.
you're not somebody who deserves some attention, but I'm saying,
No,
like,
I'm not
you see
taking it
this
like
person
that.
in a
No.
wedding dress. You see this person in a wedding dress. I'm sure you can see a ring on their hand somewhere, or maybe not because it's the wedding dress. And if you're in character, I didn't look, but
I was wearing it, but oh, also, and for the times I can't wear it, I actually have a ring tattooed on my finger. I need to get it
that's
redone
awesome.
because it's faded a little bit, but it's like a little cross.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
It is faded a little bit, but that's super cool. Um,
yeah,
I I can appreciate that, and that's commitment because it's like, hey, listen. No matter what happens, I'm gonna have this here. It's gonna
yeah,
be here.
yeah. I have that, and then I have my husband's handwriting tattooed on my arm. So,
Oh wow, you really like that guy? That's awesome.
hmm
He's kind of a stud, so it's like it makes sense.
yeah, it's true. No, he wants to make. Well, actually, I'm not gonna say what the account will be called in case someone steals it, but he's going to make an account like that people know he's my husband. So that's gonna be cute.
hmm And it's helpful. It's helpful
Yeah.
because and I guess let's talk about the parasocial relationship. Because there's people who simp, but there's people who's. I had one friend, and it was really hard for her because she'd been through a lot just as a person, and so for her to get random D pics was just a lot for her to
Oh,
deal
yeah.
with. And Instagram's gotten
Ugh.
better about filtering a lot of that nonsense out,
Mhm.
and by even us putting that into the atmosphere, unfortunately, it's probably going to attract more drama to you. So I apologize. That said,
It's fine.
the negativity, the over positivity, the fawning, like what do you normally get, and is it too much?
I used to let like the hate get to me a lot. When I first started doing it, I just like think too much about it. And so I actually took a break for a while after I started doing it because like you don't understand how many messages I had of people just telling me to kill myself or that they were going to come do it, and I was just tired. But I don't really let that get to me anymore. I usually just laugh at it, screenshot it, and then use them for like cannon fodder later on for content. It's really fun,
Dude,
actually.
you become
I
the content, not you, but like you want to
Yeah.
be involved so bad in this process. Here, let's post it up.
No, I actually have a screenshot. Not of someone's telling me to kill myself, but they were calling me a whore for showing my stomach, like right here, like my midriff in a photo, and I was like, wow. Oh, and they said something. So I'm a Christian, and they said something about like, oh, God would hate that, and I haven't responded to them, but I'm going to make a video responding to them saying you might want to think about what your goals are with this because are you leading people to Christ by calling them a whore for showing off a couple inches of their stomach, or are you just letting your anger get the best of you? And that's not a fruit of the spirit. So,
Dude,
but yeah,
and I can appreciate that as someone who is heavily involved in all things my faith. I can appreciate that, and even just as another fellow human, like reflecting and saying like, hey, some of the meanness, some of the nasty comments, even some of the personal gossip, because I'm not going to post anything mean online. All my accounts are public, and I don't get away with it. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
some of these people with avatar accounts, like their account is literally the original avatar of whatever it is, like the little silhouette of a person, and
Mm-hmm.
or some like anime figure, and you're just like, so what's your address? Let's have a conversation in person. Oh, you wouldn't do that because you're a coward.
Okay, that's actually so funny because I had this guy who was saying these really nasty things to me, and he was actually stupid enough to use his regular public account with his first and last name. And I was bored, so within 5 minutes, I found out like where his kids were baptized, what church they
Oh
went
my
to, where
gosh.
they went to school, his address, his wife's phone number and email, and all her accounts and his accounts. his job, what his position at his job was. I found out everything about this man in 5 minutes just because I was bored. And then I sent it to his wife and I was like, hey, you need to tell your husband to make a fake account if he's going to be being mean to people online because I was just bored and found all this out.
Dude, I mean, because you could have gotten real nasty and said, like, I'm going to send this to his job. Like, they
I
need to
know I
know what
could
kind of
have, but
guy. And you
I
could
didn't
have.
care. I was like, you have three daughters. I sent him a message. I was like, I hope you never speak to your daughters the way that you speak to me. And he was like,
Seriously.
don't you talk about my daughters. And I was like, you started it, buddy.
And honestly, he did. And that sounds like he's got like a pattern of abusive behavior. And I'm not
Hmm.
trying to like talking like this real like Gen Z, like, therapy speak type thing, because
No,
I'm
for
not
sure.
Gen Z. I'm a little bit older. And therefore, anything that sounds soft is disgusting. Like, if it's not Gen X, I don't want it. You know what I mean? And them people are ridiculous because they walk to school in three
Yeah.
feet of snow every day, 8 miles,
And drink out of
swim
water
across a
hoses.
lake of crocodiles. No water. No water.
No water. Oh, I drank out of water hoses, but I'm not Gen X, so
Yeah, I don't know. I'm 30, so I'm thoroughly a millennial. That said,
yeah.
um, so you were talking about some of the nasty comments you've gotten, and you've gotten some pretty brutal stuff. And it's crazy because within 5 minutes you're able to find everything about this man. You could have hunted him down and just ended his whole career, but you didn't.
I thought about sending him a letter just to freak him out.
Oh my gosh, bro, that would have been
I did
so
not,
unhinged.
but I thought about it. I was like,
Just a handwritten letter. Hello, you remember me? Just like a nice like what are they called, those printout? Not a polar.
oh, the little piece together words,
Oh my
like a
gosh,
ransom
no, that
letter.
would have been crazy. That would have been
Don't be like,
insane.
be nicer to people online
You
or
should be
something.
nicer to people, and just like like a photo of him like getting in his car with his coffee. How do you like your
Oh,
frappuccino?
so funny.
People are gonna think we're just entirely crazy. I just think it's funny. That's it. This is all
Yeah,
in
I
humor,
would
all in
not do
jest.
that. I'll
I
say
wouldn't
I
do
would
that.
not do
No,
that. But I did
no.
laugh and at my thoughts of thinking about doing so.
Right. That said, the fact that we can talk about this openly and you just have a good time with it, I think is important, because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, these people who they think they know you, they pretend to know you, and they want to say all sorts of mean, cruel things to you as if words don't have any impact, because they do. And as much as you got to be tough and you got to be able to take it, it's the onus shouldn't be on you that they should be a good person, you know? Now, let's go to the
Yeah.
other side. Do you get a lot of weird guys being like, "Oh my gosh, I love you so much"? And what are your demographics? Is it mostly men, or is it like half and half, or what are we doing?
So I'm not really sure about the demographics on Twitter because I haven't been there that long. I've only been there a couple months. Um, I know on TikTok, I think I have about 60-40, with the 40 being women, unfortunately.
It is what it
um,
is.
yeah. Um, so I get a lot on TikTok. That's my biggest platform actually. I think I actually just hit 111,000 followers on
Heck yeah,
TikTok.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's my biggest platform. I've been trying to like move that also to other platforms because you never know.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean they're talking about getting rid of it, so
I know they are. They have been.
they've been
I'm
talking
not
about it.
gonna be super upset if they do, but I'm also would prefer they don't. So whatever.
Right. I mean, you've worked hard
um,
to build that. You would hope that you could
yeah,
keep what you built. That said,
yeah,
that's out of your hands. So,
exactly. I try not to worry about it. People keep asking me, "What do you think?" I'm like, I don't care.
right.
um, but yeah, I have had a lot of people on there who have been there for like a long time, and there's definitely a lot of people. If you're seeing this right now and you're one of them, hello, who who comment on like everything. You're like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful and amazing, and I love you, and or who message me and send pics, and I'm like, do I look like I have an OnlyFans account? No, I do not. I will not have one. You will never find one. Like,
Yeah.
sorry,
I don't know. I
go
think
find
some
somewhere
people
else. There
really
are so
struggle with
many
that.
others.
Yeah. Honestly, I really think with the commodification of like independent creators creating their own adult content, I think we've really
Mm-hmm.
gotten to a point where it's assumed that if you're online and you're popular or famous or have anything about you that said individual finds attractive, that there's some sort of way to get more.
Yeah.
and
No, it's
and I
really
don't think
weird
that's
actually.
healthy for America in general, healthy for the state of mankind. And I wonder if there's any way to go back, or if this is just cats out of the bag. Some people make $1
I
million,
don't know, but
so
I would
everyone's going to
like
do it.
to go back.
Can we go
Well,
back?
it's also, I was gonna say, it's kind of like I've heard that like that platform specifically is kind of like a multi-level marketing thing because like you get things if you like introduce it to people and like there's only so many bigger creators but they pretend like it's everyone and so all these young women are like, "Oh, I can go be rich by doing this." And then they're doing that and like drastically changing their futures and not financially gaining from it or not
Hmm.
much and then they're selling pictures of themselves for $1 and they're fine at the moment but not late. Yeah, anyway, that's a whole other rabbit hole we could go
No, I mean,
down, but
it definitely is a rabbit hole. Now, taking it back down from a 30,000 foot view to, simple creators who you're doing okay, you got 100,000 on this platform, a couple cut thousand on this platform, you went viral once or twice or three times, and you're doing good, and you're on an upward trajectory. You got nominated for a Gundy. We'll talk about that because we want to make sure that you have an opportunity to win, and win big in such convincing fashion. Win so big they cannot steal it from that kind of thing. um, that said, like, as a married woman, you're on the internet. Is it weird to have so much attention from guys, even though it's not necessarily for guys, it's for women, but guys are there? Is that weird for
I
you?
know. It is a little bit. Um, I've been doing this since before I was married, but it was weird then too, just because I was in a relationship. We were together for a very long time.
Would it
We're
have
high
been
school
weird if you weren't in a
sweethearts.
relationship to get so much attention
No, it
from
would have.
guys?
And it's so weird too from people thinking that because they follow me that they're entitled to like know me or like be able to take me out on a date or send me those pictures. By the way, if you are one of those people who have ever sent me one of those pictures, I want you to know it looks like a dead rat. And that's
Mm,
all.
mm,
And no one wants to see that. So keep it to yourself.
mm.
Thank you.
They should probably stop. That's
Yeah,
bad.
like it's kind of pathetic actually. I
I
want you to know if you sent that, that's what I think about you. So anyway,
Dang. They should retire. That's bad. Okay.
yeah.
So, oof. So the
Sorry, I
how
gave
do
you that image.
I guess how do you mentally process it? And this is like a deep conversation. I understand if it's maybe hard to kind of work through it like on camera, right? But like, how do you work through that and be like, okay, I'm creating content. There's quite a few guys who are taking this too far for themselves, but I'm not doing it for that reason, or like what the heck?
I don't know. Feel like for the most part, I just try to like ignore it or like
Yeah.
pretend they're not there or because like it's weird, when people are like when you're just there, you're existing and people are like, I like your body. And I'm like, no, please leave. like
I mean,
like
that is a little
I
weird.
yeah, like I will I'm not going to prevent anyone from commenting things like that because I know the algorithm and I want it to boost me, but I just it's like with the hate, a lot of it I just ignore it. If someone says something really weird, I'll say something back like that's an odd thing to say or something.
Hmm.
But like I don't know. I feel like I'm just like, nope, you're not here. Yeah, I just don't see you.
It is weird because I think the internet has kind of opened like the floodgates that if you're in public, right, doing exactly what you're doing, say you went to the beach, right, and you wore something that most people wear to the beach,
Mhm. Yeah.
people generally aren't going to walk up to you and be like, "Hey, I like your body," like, come on, bro, like that's not generally what happens. That could happen, and it has. But the ratio of
Yeah.
happening to is quite a bit less. But because you're on the
Mhm.
internet with tremendous reach, you're gonna reach guys
Mhm.
who they feel like they're shooting their shot. Like I was somewhere, I was doing security the other night, and a guy walked up to a girl and was like, "Hey, would you like to dance?" And she was like, "No." And I think he stuck around for like a minute or two and left. And it's like, okay, well, that's kind of to be expected if you're by yourself in a dancing environment and you're a lady, somebody's going to walk up at least once, and you hope
Oh
that
yeah.
after you say no, they're going to walk away, and they're not going to be like, "I like your body." You know, like
Yeah. No, it's definitely interesting when the people who say some of the weirdest things stick around for the longest so that I start recognizing their usernames.
oh no,
Occasionally I have blocked people. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes I'm just like, I can't. I like you no, just please go.
you're just doing too much. Like you've
And
gone
I'm
too
sure they
far.
make another account and do it again, but I I sometimes I'm just done.
Right. So now at this point, do you have you dealt with any sort of like stalking outside of like, okay, I made another account to kind of virtually bother you?
Um, I don't think so. This wasn't well, I've had like a couple people like not like relatively recently, but like send me my address, but they were threatening me. So that was different. That was mean stalking, not I'm in love with you stalking. I prefer mean stalking actually, I think, because in love with you stalking is even creepier because they'll
Mm-hmm.
probably actually go through with it.
Right. Yeah, there's levels to this thing, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, the weird parasocial relationship thing that has a tendency to get
They
weird.
think they know you because
Yeah,
they see you. Yeah.
yeah. No, I mean, I kind of you watch so many hours of a person. I don't think the human brain was designed to be able to take this much information. Like it's just a
Yeah.
fire hose through your nose. You know what I mean? Like how
Mhm.
much how many people can you know? Like how many people do you follow on TikTok? How many people kind of show up in your feeds? And I'm not a TikTok guy, but I know that in these the short form video format, you're gonna get people that you're not even following that they're gonna show up and you're just like, oh, I kind of get their vibe. I kind of get, oh, they're showing off their kids. Oh, I know what their family situation is like. Oh, I know their husband. And it's like,
Mhm.
you don't know them. In fact, most of the time
Yeah.
they're playing a character. Like, this isn't
Yeah, a
really who
lot of
they
people do
are.
that.
Mhm. So I don't know. It's weird to kind of see it in real time.
Yeah.
Now, the other side of that, before we get to the Gundy's thing. So we
Mhm.
talked about the haters, the lovers, one sided relationship type thing.
Mhm.
How this is a tough question.
Okay.
What's your husband's name? Is that on the internet?
Um, I'm sure it's somewhere. I don't know. His name's Tyler.
It's a good name, Tyler. Um, how does he reconcile all this?
So he doesn't care about like the lovers because he's like, ha, I have her, you don't, sucker.
Right.
Um, like he's just like, ha ha ha. Sometimes with the haters, I have to tell him, nope, I'm handling it. This is my thing. You're not allowed to
Hmm.
go attack dog on them. He, I mean, I don't show him all the hate I get. That's not like public that he can just see. Um, because I try not to think about it that long, and so if I'm sharing it, then I'm thinking about it longer, or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
mean, because
he he
some of that, I don't think it's personal or a secret, but you don't want to overwhelm him with like, oh, because
yeah
he's not going to
no
hear all the times that people say nice things, and
yeah
so it kind of almost be overwhelming for every single mean comment to go to him. Like that's not
yeah no, and
appropriate,
it's
I
not
don't
like I'd
think.
hide it from him. Like if we both have full access to each other's phones. If we wanted to look at whatever, like he could go read all of them and see all the dick pics and everything. But I don't think he's going to do
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt
that.
he's into it. Um,
Yeah, I
but
can't see that, but
I suppose we should transition since we kind of understand where all that kind of is when the whole weird parasocial thing. You got nominated this year, maybe is first year, second year for a Gundy Award, which is like the Grammys or the Emmys for gun creators across the internet. Multiple categories. Which one did you get? Was it most influential?
yeah, most influential female of the year is what I am currently nominated for.
Which,
It's my first time ever being nominated, so
hey, congratulations, first of all. It's
thank you.
cool to be recognized for the hard work that you put in. And I think, hopefully, I hope that you continue to be recognized for the hard work. That said, let's kind of get into it. Most influential female at this point, I don't think I've seen another female go as viral as you did this year and kind of exit and permeate the gun space. Obviously, there's going to be like the Zedras and the different people who are like in Call of Duty and stuff like that, and
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh,
whatever.
I'm definitely one of the smaller women who have been nominated for that award, and I'm like, there's like they're sponsored by like gun companies with like millions of followers, and their gun companies are sharing on their stories, go vote for them, and I'm like, vote for me.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's
tough.
crazy.
It's a tough place to be.
It's well, there's so many amazing people nominated. Like, I yeah, it's crazy to me. Like, I feel so honored though to be up there with like all the other women who are in that category. It feels really cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, I mean, I'm pulling up the Gundy's website right now because, I can. We have the option to do that. And you said most influential female of the
Yes.
year. I think I'm just gonna give me a second. I'm actually just gonna put it on the screen so we can look at it
Okay.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
I don't remember who else in that category, but just off the top of my head, like Julia Golov is. She's like a world champion. I'm not a world champion.
I mean, it's interesting, but at the end of the day, like even to be nominated is so cool. Like, do you know how you got
No, it is.
nominated? Was it Tyler? Did he drop you in there, or was it one of the
I
crazy
I
simps?
I think it was probably some of my followers. Um, yeah, that's what would be my assumption. I'm not sure, but the blowing up that viral photo is definitely good timing because I'm really hoping everyone who saw it was like, oh, we should go vote for her.
I hope you win. Like, first of all, like I've got a lot of friends, and I think a few friends on this list, but I hope you win, because yeah, and I'm just gonna go ahead and um, put this here. Boom, publish that. So here's the list, and we have you are the first one on the list, Princess and the Pistol.
I know I saw that. I was like, did they put me there because I'm the smallest account? If so, thank you.
That's helpful. I mean, some of these people, Autumn's Armory, like we all know who that is, or at least I do. She's this little girl who shoots guns, and she's pretty cool. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
most of
know.
these
I saw her in the
people.
category. I was like, dang, I'm so not gonna win. Everyone's gonna vote for the adorable child.
I mean, if she wins, I'm not mad.
No, I won't be either. I'll be like, you know what? More power to you. I think she won one last year. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, she's
yeah.
cute. That's
I
who I
think maybe
aspire
she
to.
did.
No.
Golly, now I feel like I'm so out of the loop because I'm going down the list and I'm like, I don't recognize half these people. Like some of them I do, like some of these people have like really popping like YouTubes and whatnot. So it's like, okay, yeah.
Okay.
And I had Gabby Franco on competitive shooter, former Olympian. I think, I guess she would be an Olympian because, she was in the Olympics, so it doesn't matter. But most of these people, I'm like, I don't even know who that is. Like, who are these people? Congratulations, you guys have. I think she's the Natalie Eva Marie. I think she's a wrestler. So
Oh, okay.
cool,
Interesting.
good for you. And but yeah, I love that you're literally the first one on the website. So guys, go vote right now. Get out and vote. Get out to vote. Get out to vote. Um, and just dump all your votes on her if you aren't already supporting other creators. There's a lot of
But
guys out
even
there
if you
who are
are,
supporting.
backstab them. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, throw a few votes to the small creator who, honestly, I think at this point, like you deserve some love. Like let's get you up there. Let's get you a win.
I
So
appreciate it. Well, I'll be there either way. Whether I'm making the
so
top
you
five,
going
I'm
out
gonna
to the
be at
Gundys
SHOT
this year?
Show. Yeah, I'm gonna be at SHOT Show in the Gundys. So
There you go. So I guess last thing we could talk about, because this has been going on for almost an hour, and I don't want to take too much more of your evening, but SHOT Show. Have you been out to SHOT Show yet, or?
I have not. This will be my first year. Um, I was actually interviewed for a article that was put out a few weeks back, and the guy who's interviewing me, Mitch, he's very cool. He was like, "You need to go to SHOT Show," and I was like, "Okay, I will do that." So here I am going to SHOT Show.
Dude, is this your first industry event? The word
Yes.
industry is so weird because it's like, is it a community? No, there's a lot of money behind this thing. It's an industry.
Yeah,
You know,
it's gonna be my first one, and I'm going
that's
by
that's a
myself,
fire
and
hose.
it's gonna be kind of crazy.
I've never been to SHOT. I've been to a
Hmm.
couple NRAs. I've been to a few USECA events, a few gun cons up in Iowa when it was still there, um, a few smaller organizations like NAAGA, and just name a few. Like I've been to events, some like small range days from like smaller creators,
Hmm.
and they say SHOT shows like 10 times bigger than all of them. So
Yeah, I was looking at the map, and I was like, oh, that is an incredibly large venue.
wear your most comfortable shoes. Maybe take some
Yes, I
painkillers.
have been told that.
Get some
I have been
chapstick.
told that.
Find the bathroom
I
and
was
drink lots of
actually,
water.
yeah, also I've been told bring hand sanitizer and use it after shaking everyone's hand. So
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
because people always get some sort of SHOT Show cred and come back a little sick, and they'll be like, "Oh, it was SHOT Show." I'm like, "Well, you shook 1,000 hands." Um, and if
yeah,
possible, I'd wear some sort of branding so people can kind of recognize you a little bit. Um,
yeah. So I'm actually, it's funny. So it's like a week long event. I'm going to wear that outfit I went viral in at some point. I was like, that'll be funny. At least people might recognize me that way. But no, I make t-shirts. I'm gonna make myself a shirt with my name
do
on
it,
it, and
do it.
yeah, we'll see how it
I'm
goes.
100% here for it. Normally, I'll wear a hat that says Gun Club Radio when I'm doing the show, just add a little bit of branding in there.
Oh, I do have a hat. I should wear the hat. That's a good. Thank you for the idea. I'm bringing my Princess and the Pistol hat.
Yeah. Is Tyler going with you, or are you going to go with some girls?
I'm going by myself.
All by yourself?
Yeah, well, we can't really afford for both of us to take off a week
I
and
understand.
then go to Vegas. And since it's like pushing this forward, I was like, it's worth it to go. But
Dude,
yeah, I'm going by myself. I'm
well,
so scared, man.
here's a little advice, creator to creator. Refine your pitch, because you're going to have an opportunity to talk to a lot of really, really cool companies who can really do a lot for your channel, as in like, hey, let's send her some product, let's feature her on the thing, let's actually pay her to do some stuff, and depending on what you want to do in life, because some people are like, "Nah, I'll never take money from a company." I was like, never say never, but have some morals. um
Yeah, no, I'll take money if it's something that I like or will use. I won't take
mhm.
money for anything. But like, I'm not gonna be like, hey, look at this piece of lace. You should use this as a holster because they're giving me $1,000 to say this.
Dude, here's some tea, right? And if you stay long enough into
Okay.
this into the video podcast, whatever, you get this, right? This one's free. So once heard of some creators who were paid like 2 grand to show up to a booth at like some sort, I think it was at NRA um, annual convention. They got paid and they never showed up.
Oh,
They just never showed up. I can't give you guys names, so that's not something I can do. But
you can send
I was
them
just
later. No,
like,
just kidding.
man, the amount of money that is just floats around this thing. You just got paid to show up for like an hour and shake hands and, you know, basically be, I guess like a booth bunny in a sense, but like a creator. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
let's make some,
Hmm.
can we make a few videos of you being here and shake some hands and stuff and kind of draw people into your booth? I mean, you see professional wrestlers and Jerry
Hmm.
Michalek and different like really amazing people in the space kind of at
Yeah.
random booths, and you're just like, Jerry, is that? Oh, hey, handshake, yeah. Thank you for being
No, that's
awesome.
crazy.
But
Yeah.
I just hope that we can all get there at one point where it's like, hey, can you show up? We will give you money. Yeah,
No, I know. I want someone to pay me to show up. Like, I'll show up. I go to lots of
dude.
places.
Here's to next year you being not just invited to SHOT Show, but someone paying the entire thing. Here's to that. So
That would be very cool. No,
hey,
okay,
just
and
keep pushing.
you said refine my pitch. I don't have a pitch yet. So, you know, I
Well,
might be
and that's the
messaging
hard
you
thing.
later on like, "Hey."
Yeah. And I'm not going to get too much into details, but especially when you're kind of like young and like just completely sincere and just